Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are here. Today's Monday, right? Yeah, happy Monday. We are still doing our Bible reading daily. So we're reading through the Bible and we are in the book of Numbers. We are almost done with Numbers. I wanted to be done by today, but I wasn't able to come on yesterday. So tomorrow, hopefully, prayerfully, we'll be able to get it done by tomorrow. And we are on chapter 29 of Numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and just get started. I do have a playlist over on YouTube if you wanted to see it from the beginning. So I have Genesis up until now over on YouTube. So be sure to check that out if that's something that you want. I try to come on every day, and that way, if you want to, you can listen while you're getting ready or while you're driving to work or wherever you're doing. That way, you can just listen to the word and you can get your word in every day. All right. And that is it. So we're going to go ahead and get started. If you're new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. If you haven't already, please be sure to like, comment, give me some hearts. Any gifts you give me, I truly, truly appreciate them. And I try to look up every once in a while, but I'm reading, so I try just to kind of focus on that. But I pray that this blesses somebody, that somebody's able to, gain something from this. And again, I'm just doing this every day. We are on Numbers 29, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. The first day of the seventh month will be a holy occasion for you. You will not do any job-related work. It will be for you a day of the trumpet's sound. You will offer an entirely burnt offering as a soothing smell to the Lord, one bull from the herd, one ram, and 7 male lambs 1 year old, all flawless. The grain offering will be fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 for the bull, 2/10 for the ram, and 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs. There will be 1 male goat for a purification offering to seek reconciliation for yourselves. This is in addition to the monthly entirely burnt offering with its grain offering, and the regular entirely burnt offering with its grain offering, and drink offerings as prescribed. It will be a soothing smell, a food gift to the Lord. The 10th day of the 7th month will be a holy occasion for you. You will deny yourselves and not do any work. You will present an entirely burned offering to the Lord as a soothing smell. 1 bull from the herd, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs 1 year old. They will be flawless. Their grain offering will be fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 for the bull, 2/10 for the 1 ram, and 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs. There will be 1 male goat for a purification offering in addition to the purification offering of reconciliation, and the regular entirely burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offerings. The 15th day of the 7th month will be a holy occasion for you. You will not do any job-related work. You will celebrate a festival to the Lord for 7 days. You will present an entirely burned offering, a food gift as a soothing smell to the Lord, 13 bulls from the herd, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs 1 year old. They will be flawless. Their grain offering will be fine flour mixed with oil. 3/10 for each of the 13 bulls, 2/10 for each of the 2 rams, and 1/10 for each of the 14 lambs. There will be 1 male goat for a purification offering in addition to the regular entirely burned offering with its grain offering and its drink offering. On the second day, 12 bulls from the herd, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs 1 year old, all flawless. The grain offering and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and lambs will be as prescribed for their number. There will be 1 male goat for a purification offering in addition to the regular entirely burned offering with its grain offering and drink offerings. On the third day, 11 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs 1 year old, all flawless. The grain offering and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and lambs will be as prescribed for their number. There will be one male goat for a purification offering in addition to the regular entirely burned offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the fourth day, 10 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs, 1 year old, all flawless. The grain offering and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and lambs will be as prescribed for their number. There will be one male goat for a purification offering in addition to the regular entirely burned offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the fifth day, 9 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs, 1 year old, all flawless. The grain offering and their drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and lambs will be as prescribed for their number. There will be one male goat for a purification offering in addition to the regular entirely burned offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the sixth day, 8 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs, 1 year old, all flawless. The grain offering and their drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and lambs will be as prescribed for their number. There will be one male goat for a purification offering in addition to the regular entirely burned offering with its grain offering and its drink offerings. On the seventh day, 7 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs, 1 year old, all flawless. The grain offering and their drink offering for the bulls, rams, and lambs will be as prescribed for their number. There will be one male goat for a purification offering in addition to the regular entirely burned offering with its grain offering and its drink offering. On the 8th day, you will have a holiday. You will not do any job-related work. You will present an entirely burned offering, a food gift as a soothing smell to the Lord, 1 bull, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs, 1 year old, all without blemish. The grain offering and their drink offerings for the bull, ram, and the lambs will be as prescribed for their number. There will be one male goat for a purification offering in addition to the regular entirely burned offering with its grain offering and its drink offering. These you will offer to the Lord at your appointed times in addition to your payments for solemn promises. Your spontaneous gifts, your entirely burnt offerings, your grain offerings, your drink offerings, and your well-being sacrifices. Moses told the Israelites everything that the Lord commanded Moses. Let me get a drink here. Moses spoke to the leaders of the tribes of the Israelites. This is what the Lord has commanded. When a man makes a solemn promise to the Lord or swears a solemn pledge of binding obligation for himself, he cannot break his word. He must do everything he said. When a woman makes a solemn promise to the Lord or a binding obligation while she is young and in her father's household, and her father hears her solemn promise or her binding obligation for herself and keeps silent, then all her solemn promises and any of her binding obligations for herself will stand. But if her father expresses disapproval to her on the day that he hears her, none of her solemn promises or any of her binding obligations for herself will stand. The Lord will forgive her because her father expressed disapproval to her. If she marries while her solemn promise is in effect or makes a statement by which she binds herself and her husband hears it on the day he hears it, keeps silent, her solemn promises will stand as well as her binding obligations for herself. But if on the day that her husband hears it, he expresses disapproval to her, he can break her solemn promise and the statement by which she bound herself. Then the Lord will forgive her. Every solemn promise of a widow or divorced woman who makes a binding obligation for herself will stand. If a woman makes a solemn promise in her husband's household or makes a binding obligation for herself with a solemn pledge, and her husband hears, keeps silent, and doesn't express disapproval to her, then all her solemn promises will stand and all her binding obligations for herself will stand. If her husband breaks them on the day he hears them, then whatever she said with regard to her solemn promises or the binding obligations for herself will not stand. Her husband has broken them. The Lord will forgive her. Her husband may allow any solemn promise or any binding pledge of self-denial to stand or be broken. But if her husband keeps silent from one day to the next, he has upheld all her solemn promises and all her binding obligations. He has upheld them because he remained silent on the day he heard them. If he breaks them after he has heard them, he will assume her guilt. These are the regulations that the Lord commanded Moses concerning a husband and his wife, and between a father and his daughter, while she is young and in her father's household. The Lord spoke to Moses, "Take just reparations for the Israelites from the Midianites. Afterward, you will join your ancestors." Moses spoke to the people, "Equip some of your men for battle, so that they may go against Midian, and I execute the Lord's just punishment against Midian. You will send out for battle 1,000 from each of the tribes of Israel. From the thousands of Israel, 1,000 from each tribe were selected. 12,000 were equipped for battle. Moses sent them to battle, 1,000 from each tribe, along with Phinehas, Eleazar the priest's son, who carried the sanctuary equipment and the trumpets for sounding the alarm in his hand. They battled against Midian as the Lord had commanded Moses, and they killed every male. They killed the kings of Midian, Evi, Rechem, Zur, Hur, and Reba, the 5 kings of Midian, along with others slain. They also killed Balaam, Beor's son, with the sword. The Israelites took captive the Midianite women, their little ones, all their cattle, their herds, and their possessions. They burned all the cities where they lived and their encampments. They took all the spoils of war and the valuable property, both human and animal. And they brought the captives, the valuable property, and the spoils of war to Moses, Eleazar the priest, and the Israelite community at the camp on the plains of Moab by the Jordan River across from Wait a minute. That didn't make sense. They took all the spoils of war and the valuable property, both human and animal, and they brought the captives, the valuable property, and the spoils of war to Moses, Eleazar the priest, and the Israelite community at the camp on the plains of Moab by the Jordan across from Jericho. Moses, Eleazar the priest, and the chiefs of the community went to meet them outside the camp. Moses became angry with the commanders of the army, the officers of thousands, and the officers of hundreds who came back from the battle. Moses said to them, "Have you let all the women live?" These very women, on Balaam's advice, made the Israelites break faith with the Lord in the affair at Peor. So there was a plague among the Lord's community. Now kill every male child and every female who has known a man intimately by sleeping with them. But all the young girls who have not known a man intimately by sleeping with them, spare for yourselves. You will remain outside the camp for 7 days. Everyone among you and your captives who has killed a person or touched a corpse must purify themselves on the 3rd and 7th days. You must also purify every garment and everything made of leather, goat's hair, or wood. Eleazar the priest said to the men of battle who had gone out to war, "This is the regulation in the instruction that the Lord commanded Moses. Gold, silver, copper, iron, tin, and lead, anything that can withstand fire, you will put through the fire and it will be clean. It will also be purified with the water of purification. Anything that isn't able to withstand fire, you will immerse in water. You must wash your clothes on the 7th day, and you will be clean. Afterward, you may enter the camp." The Lord said to Moses, "You, Eleazar the priest, and the leaders of the community's households must take an inventory of the valuable property and the captives, both human and animals, and divide the valuable property between the warriors who went into battle and the entire community. You will offer as tribute to the Lord from each warrior who went into battle one living being in 500, whether human, oxen, donkeys, or flocks. Take it from the warrior's half and give it to Eleazar the priest as a gift offering to the Lord. But from the Israelites' half, you will take one out of every 50, whether from human, oxen, donkeys, or flock, all the animals. You will give to the Levites who carry out the duties of the Lord's dwelling. Moses and Eleazar the priest did as the Lord commanded Moses. The valuable property remaining from the spoils of war that the people of the army had taken was 675,000 sheep, 72,000 oxen, 61,000 donkeys, and 32,000 women who hadn't known a man intimately by sleeping with him. The half share of those who had gone out to battle numbered 337,500 sheep, of which the Lord's tribute was 675. The oxen was 36,000, of which the Lord's tribute was 72. The donkeys were 30,500, of which the Lord's tribute was 61. Humans were 16,000, of which the Lord's tribute was 32 persons. Moses gave the tribute a gift offering for the Lord to Eleazar the priest, as the Lord had commanded Moses. As for the half share of the Israelites that Moses divided from those who had gone out to battle, the community's half share was 337,500 sheep, 36,000 oxen, 30,500 donkeys, and 16,000 humans. Moses took from the Israelites half, one out of every 50, from humans and animals. He gave them to the Levites who carry out the duties of the Lord's dwelling, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. The commanders over the thousands of the army, officers over thousands, and officers over hundreds approached Moses and said to Moses, "Your servants have counted the warriors in our charge, and not one of us is missing. We have brought the Lord's offering that each found. We have brought the Lord's offerings that each found: gold articles, anklets, bracelets, signet rings, earrings, and necklaces, to seek reconciliation for ourselves before the Lord." Moses and Eleazar the priest took all the gold articles from them. All the gold for the gift offering that was presented to the Lord from the officers of thousands and the officers of hundreds was 16,750 shekels. Each of the men of battle took spoils of war for himself. Yet Moses and Eleazar the priest also received the gold from the officers of thousands and of hundreds, and they brought it to the meeting tent as a memorial for the Israelites before the Lord. The livestock owned by the Reubenites and the Gadites were unusually vast and numerous. They saw that the land of Jazer and the land of Gilead were exactly the place for livestock. So the Gadites and the Reubenites came and said to Moses, Eleazar the priest, and the chiefs of the community, Adaroth, Dibon, Jazer, Nimrah, Heshbon, Elieleh, Sabam, Nebo, and Beon is the land that the Lord struck down before the Israelite community. It is a land for livestock, and your servants have livestock. They said, if you approve our request, give this land to your servants as property. Don't make us cross the Jordan. Moses said to the Gadites and the Reubenites, should your brothers go to war while you stay here? Why would you destroy the Israelites resolved to cross? Why would you destroy the Israelites resolved to cross into the land that the Lord gave them? Your ancestors did this. when I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to inspect the land. They went up to the cluster ravine, saw the land, and destroyed the Israelites, resolved to enter the land that the Lord had given them. The Lord became angry on that day and promised, none of the persons that went up from Egypt, those 20 years old and above, will see the fertile ground that I promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because they didn't remain true to me, except Caleb, Jephunneh, the Kenizzite's son, and Joshua, Nun's son, because they remained true to the Lord. The Lord became angry with the Israelites and made them wander in the desert for 40 years until the entire generation had died, which had done evil in the Lord's eyes. Now you've taken the place of your ancestors, a group of sinful men, to intensify the Lord's anger against Israel. If you turn away from him, he will turn away again to abandon Israel in the desert. Then you will destroy this entire people. So they approached him and said, we will build walled enclosures here for our livestock and towns for our children. Then we will eagerly fight in front of the Israelites until we have brought them into their place. Our children will live in the fortified cities because of the land's inhabitants, and we won't return to our homes until each of the Israelites takes possession of his property. We won't inherit land with them there across the Jordan, because we've received our property on the east side of Jordan. Moses said to them, do this and fight before the Lord in war. All of you who are equipped for war, cross the Jordan before the Lord until he has driven his enemies out before him, and the land is subdued in the Lord's presence. Then you may return innocently before the Lord in Israel, and this land will be your property before the Lord. But if you don't do this, you've sinned against the Lord. Know that your sin will find you. So build towns for your children and walled enclosures for your flocks, but do what you have promised. The Gadites and the Reubenites said to Moses, your servants will do as my master has commanded. Our children, wives, livestock, and all of our animals will remain in the cities of Gilead. But your servants, everyone equipped for war before the Lord, will go over to do battle, as my master said. Moses made demands for them to Eleazar the priest, to Joshua, Nun's son, and to the leaders of the households of the Israelite tribes. Moses said to them, if the Gadites and the Reubenites cross the Jordan with you, each equipped for battle before the Lord, and the land is subdued before you, then you will give them the land of Gilead as a possession. If, however, they don't cross with you, equipped for war, they will take possession of property with you in the land of Canaan. The Gadites and the Reubenites answered, we'll do just as the Lord has spoken to your servants. We'll cross into the land of Canaan before the Lord, equipped for war, but the property we inherit will be across the Jordan. So Moses gave to them the Gadites, the Reubenites, and half the tribe of Manasseh, Joseph's son, the kingdom of Sihon, the king of the Amorites, and the kingdom of Og, the king of Bashan, including the land, its cities, and the territory surrounding the land cities. The Gadites built Dibon, Adaroth, Aroer, Atroth, Shaphan, Gezar, Jogbeha, Beth Nimrah, and Beth Haran, fortified cities and walled enclosures for flocks. The Reubenites built Heshbon, Elealeh, Kirithaim, Nebo, and Baal Maon, whose names were changed, and Sibmah. They named the cities that they built. The descendants of Machir, Manasseh's son, went to Gilead, captured it, and drove out the Amorites who were there. So Moses gave Gilead to Machir, Manasseh's son, and he lived there. Manasseh's son Jair went and captured their villages and named them Havoth Jahir. Noba went and captured Kenath and its surrounding villages and renamed Noba after himself. And I'm actually going to stop right there. And I think tomorrow we'll be able to finish Numbers and head on into Deuteronomy. So I just want to thank everyone who was on today, everyone who watched the replay. I appreciate each and every one of you. And be sure to like, comment, share, do all the things. And until next time, guys, be blessed and be the reason someone smiles. Bye.